Where's this place called Vietnam? Number 3. The gift of numbness is granted by the Lord, sometimes they say, if you are dying. This is done to reduce the effect of positive feedback originating at the source of pain and being transmitted to the central nervous system via a series of chemical networks. These sense perceptions can add to the problem. Thus, the possibility, the term positive feedback. Often, John felt he was dying. When his missile frigate was in the middle of the ocean, he calculated the distance to the nearest land and calculated he was as good as dead. To ease his concern, he would pester the quartermaster to give him the ship's position. The latest determination were then discussed with the other crew members. Where are we? We're halfway out. Halfway out? Out where? Out here, see? John produced sketches of the Pacific Ocean and South China Sea. Shit, what's this? Okinawa. Yeah, and what's this? Taiwan. Taiwan. Here, there's good liberty there. Bullshit. Fucking island crawling with giant cockroaches and rats. How'd you know? Been there. How's the women there? They ain't no women unless you can get to an Air Force base. Shit. We're going to Taiwan? You don't want to go there. Look, I don't. I'll find that Air Force base. Look, you will. You got to go to Taipei, and that's 50 miles from any part of the missile frigate is going to pull in. John would have appreciated any port as long as he was safely connected to a pier and could go ashore at will. The ship stopped at many ports. As the number increased, John's personality lost its attention on who he had been 100 days ago, 2 years ago, 9 years ago. He became a crab crawling over the ship and ports of call, looking for his new identity, the new face, the appealing glare of the unknown, both in no way, and was slowly losing the precious balance that stirred in him. Experiencing what happening to Dennis and Bob and seeing, able to control the change and didn't know that the fluid that once lubricated his brain was becoming quite something else. At night they heard the sea bats fly in the half hull of the ship, the half-inch steel between them and the sea, the steel itself losing to the damaging tactics of the sea, rusting away as they, like birds tucked away for the night in unknown slum, went to sleep. Every one of them, somehow fastened to the hull, which was rotting away always. All things give to it. The ocean is a primordial force. Only a very low IQ would guess it wasn't. Report from Vietnam were on the upside. McNamara had drawn a line through the country. Hit a considerable moment in the war. Dennis went into the ship's library to figure out where that line would put him. The chaplain said not to worry, it was a Catholic country. No sooner had the frigate got into the next port when Dennis went a little crazy and stabbed the brother of a prostitute he was engaging. Dennis went to the ship's brig. The ship was asked to leave port. Bob had a theory that Dennis was upset over his sister and said if it came to it, he would let his opinion be known if Dennis was going to get into any trouble. But after 2 days in the brig, Dennis was released, although he was restricted to the ship for 1 month. How could it be, John thought, that Dennis, obviously a very nice guy, who wanted to study poetry, could go out and stab a fellow? In his confusion, John wrote a letter to his girlfriends. Dear fill in the blank. War is hell. Guys go around stabbing each other. Some guys are drunk all the time. And we're forever looking for crabs. Not that I haven't become one myself. The harbors, the water of the ports we visit are all muddy and seem to hold suspended human feces. While we're out here risking our necks, some jerk-off in Washington is drawing lines on a map. Shades of Vietnam. Pink asteroids up your nose. Where is the justice? Love, John. Besides becoming a hippie and a mercenary, John often thought of being a writer in his next life. The problem with John was that he was such a loser, he wouldn't know the topside of a battleship from his mother. In the part where they go to the beginning of the next one. The silent waters of Vietnam, out of the ship's stacks, smoking, and lords rising on the tops of waves, entering a harbor, shading their eyes in the bright sun, reflected in everything. Oh, where is this place called Vietnam? It is here, passing under your bow, jumping out of the sea like dolphins, playing tag. When is this place called Vietnam? It is now before you, even though it disappears as you squint at it in the sun. Do unsophisticated boys from Kansas go to Vietnam? Is there television? Are there many women in the streets? Oh, wait, I see a Coca-Cola sign. Bob went ashore and got laid. Nobody else on the missile frigate would do this because it was generally known that the Vietnamese women had every disease known to mankind in their bodies. The people seemed to be very backwards, living in huts and depending on the sea for a living. Most of the sailors were grumpy about pulling Liberty in what they called a shithole. Because he could not go ashore, Dennis spent his free time walking around the ship, looking into the waters. It was clear, and one could see the bottom. John, knowing that Bob had gotten laid, took a chance and had one of the village girls sex with him. At first, the girl had protested, but he offered more money and threatened to stab her with a knife he had just bought off a street vendor, possibly her brother. What satisfaction. He thought of writing home about his experience. Wasn't he becoming a big guy? Knives, Manila, booze all the time, Hong Kong, Japan. I mean, shit, this is living. Only thing is I can't stand the Navy. Some crap. Man has to put up with a lot of crap just to have a good time. Bob thought, perpetual sex in the tropic is enough to keep me going. Beer doesn't hurt either. When I get back to the States, I'm going to break off my engagement with Louise. And we'll stop there.